Imagine this for a moment. You wake up one morning, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and catch your reflection in the mirror. Something feels off. Your joints ache a little more than they used to. Your mind feels just a touch foggier. And that spark of energy you once had seems harder to find. Most people shrug and say, well, that's just getting older. But what if I told you there's something deeper going on? A hidden fire smoldering inside your body. One that speeds up aging, weakens your defenses, and makes you more vulnerable to the very diseases you've been trying to avoid? That fire has a name. In my world, we call it Inflamm-Aging. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly what it is, why it matters, and most importantly, how you can take back control. Because after more than 3 decades in medicine, sitting across from grandmothers, veterans, teachers, even CEOs, I can tell you this with confidence: you are not doomed to age poorly. The choices you make, even the smallest ones, can either pour gasoline on that hidden flame or slowly put it out. So stay with me. And while you're here, if you find this message valuable, I'd love for you to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and hit subscribe so you never miss the science-backed tools that can help you age with strength, clarity, and dignity. What is inflamm-aging? When most people hear the word inflammation, they picture a sprained ankle that swells up or the soreness of a throat during a winter cold. In those moments, inflammation is your ally. It's your immune system's firefighters rushing to the scene, dousing the flames, repairing damage, and protecting you from infection. But as the years pass, something shifts. Instead of these brief bursts of protective inflammation, many of us begin to live with a quiet, ongoing smolder. Not enough to make you feel sick like a fever, but just enough to wear you down day by day. Scientists gave it a name: inflamm-aging. And this subtle, chronic state is far from harmless. In fact, it's the invisible thread tying aging to many of the illnesses people fear most: Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and type 2 diabetes. It's the reason why a 75-year-old may suddenly feel decades older in a matter of months. Think of it like this: your body is running a low-grade fever that never switches off. It doesn't drop you to the floor in one day, but it drains your energy, frays your cells, and erodes your tissues little by little, like rust silently eating through steel. Over years, this internal flame accelerates aging itself. We've seen this even in powerful figures on the world stage. Former US President Ronald Reagan experienced the creeping toll of inflamm-aging as Alzheimer's disease slowly stole his sharpness. Or consider Pope John Paul II, whose long battle with Parkinson's disease was worsened by chronic inflammation that attacked his nervous system. These were not weaknesses of willpower, they were consequences of biology. Their stories remind us that even leaders with the best medical care cannot ignore the body's hidden fire. As a physician, I often tell patients, inflamm-aging is like carrying a heavy backpack every single day. You may not notice it at first, but over decades, that weight bends your spine, weakens your muscles, and steals your resilience. That's why understanding it and learning how to cool it may be one of the most powerful steps you can take to age not just longer, but better. Food, the fuel for or against the fire. If inflammation is the fire that quietly burns inside us, then food is either the water hose that cools it or the gasoline that makes it rage out of control. Over the years, I've seen countless patients unknowingly feed that fire with the very meals they believed were healthy. One of them was Margaret, a 72-year-old retired librarian. She proudly told me she was careful about her diet. But when we looked closely, her plate was filled with white bread, fried snacks, and deli meats. To her, this was just normal food. To her body, it was a constant battlefield. Within weeks, the inflammation in her joints worsened, her energy sank, and her mind felt foggy. The shift happened when we swapped those hidden culprits for foods rich in antioxidants and healthy fats. Leafy greens, bright berries, extra virgin olive oil, and fatty fish like salmon. Within 3 months, her knees loosened, her memory sharpened, and she told me with tears in her eyes, "Doctor, I finally feel like myself again." Science confirms what Margaret experienced. Decades of studies on the Mediterranean diet, a pattern rich in fruits, vegetables, nuts, whole grains, and fish, show it can calm inflammation right down to the cellular level. Imagine blueberries, cherries, and oranges fighting free radicals, spinach and kale flooding your cells with nutrients, almonds and walnuts repairing blood vessels, olive oil coating them like a shield, and ripe tomatoes working as natural anti-inflammatory medicine. And then there's the other side of the table: refined carbohydrates, fried foods, processed meats, and sugar-laden snacks. These don't just fill your stomach, they fuel the fire. Each bite is like pouring kerosene on embers that never go out. Even global leaders have had to face this truth. Former US President Bill Clinton, known for his fast food habits in his younger years, nearly lost his life to heart disease. After emergency heart surgery, he made a dramatic shift toward a plant-rich, anti-inflammatory diet. He openly credited that change with saving his health and giving him more years with his family. And he's not alone. Business magnate Jeff Bezos, who has poured billions into longevity research, openly favors Mediterranean-style meals with fish, nuts, and vegetables, knowing that no amount of wealth can outbuy poor health if inflammation takes control. So here's the lesson. Every meal is a choice. Every forkful is either medicine or poison. The truth is, your fork is your fire extinguisher. Use it wisely, and it can cool the flames of inflammation before they consume your future. Movement, nature's anti-inflammatory. If food is one extinguisher of inflammation, movement is the other. In medicine, we say it plainly: motion is medicine. I've seen this truth play out countless times. Take John, a 65-year-old Vietnam veteran who sat across from me one afternoon, arms crossed, insisting, "Doc, I'm just not built for the gym." He lived with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and an aching back that followed him everywhere. But I convinced him to try something almost laughably simple: a 15-minute walk every day. No treadmill marathons, no heavy weights, no CrossFit, just a walk. 6 months later, he walked back into my office, a different man. His blood sugar had dropped, his mood was lighter, and when we checked his labs, the inflammatory markers that once spiked like red warning lights were significantly down. His body had flipped the switch back toward healing, all from a habit as humble as walking. That's the power of exercise. It reduces inflammatory proteins, improves circulation, strengthens immunity, and whispers to every cell in your body: we're still alive, we're still strong, and we're not shutting down yet. And this isn't just theory. We see it in leaders across the globe. Barack Obama, during his presidency, famously kept to a disciplined morning workout routine of cardio and strength training. Under the stress of leading a nation, he knew physical activity wasn't vanity, it was survival. Exercise kept his blood pressure low, his energy high, and his mind sharp in an environment that would age most people twice as fast. The CDC tells us older adults should aim for 2.5 hours of moderate activity each week, plus some muscle strengthening twice weekly. But don't let numbers scare you. In truth, the best exercise is the one you'll actually do. Whether that's biking, yoga, swimming, or dancing in your own kitchen, doing something will always beat doing nothing. So if there's one prescription I wish every senior would take seriously, it's this: don't stop moving. Every step, every stretch, every bit of motion is a quiet but powerful act of medicine against inflammation. Stress, the hidden gasoline. If diet is the fuel and movement the extinguisher, then stress is the hidden gasoline most people don't even realize they're pouring on their fire. Stress isn't just a feeling in your mind, it's a biochemical storm in your body. When stress lingers, your brain sends signals to release cortisol and pro-inflammatory cytokines. These chemicals keep your body on high alert, as if danger were lurking around every corner. Useful in a short burst, destructive when it never ends. Chronic stress pushes inflammaging into overdrive, draining energy, stiffening joints, clouding memory, and even raising your risk for heart attacks or strokes. Now, you don't need a monastery or a meditation retreat to fight stress. Sometimes it's as simple as a walk in the park with a friend, listening to music that softens your heart rate, laughing with loved ones over dinner, practicing the 4, 7, 8 breathing technique: inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Even the most powerful figures on earth need stress relief to survive. Take Barack Obama again. He often credited basketball and quiet family dinners as his escape valves during the immense pressures of the White House. Without them, chronic stress could have carved away at his health. Or think of Michelle Obama, who openly shared how yoga and mindfulness practices helped her stay grounded while balancing the demands of motherhood and global leadership. She once said that self-care wasn't selfish, it was necessary for survival. That's inflammaging management in action. Stress doesn't respect titles, crowns, or offices. Even world leaders, with all their power, must bow to biology. Their bodies respond to stress, just like yours or mine. Inflammation rises, aging accelerates. That's why I tell every patient, protecting your health after 50 isn't just about the food you eat or the steps you take. It's also about protecting your peace of mind. Because the quieter your mind, the quieter the fire of inflammaging becomes. Supplements, helpers, not magic bullets. Supplements are one of the first things patients ask me about. Doctor, what pill can I take to fix inflammation? And here's the truth. There is no magic capsule that can erase inflammaging. Pills can support your health, yes, but they will never outshine what you put on your plate, how much you move, or how well you manage stress. That said, some supplements do offer real support. Fish oil, rich in omega-3 fatty acids like EPA and DHA, has some of the strongest evidence. Omega-3 lower inflammatory markers, protect the heart, and may even slow brain decline. Others, turmeric, curcumin, ginger, garlic, resveratrol, spirulina, and alpha-lipoic acid show promise, though the results vary from study to study. I tell my patients to think of them as helpful teammates, not star players. They can nudge your body toward balance, but they can't carry the entire load. And look, this isn't just advice for ordinary people. Even some of the most powerful and wealthy individuals in the world, with access to cutting-edge medicine, still lean on these natural supports. Take Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest men alive. With billions invested in longevity research, you might expect him to chase futuristic therapies. And yet, his personal health routine includes omega-3 second, plant-based meals, and exercise. The same fundamentals I recommend to my patients every day. If the basics are good enough for a billionaire, they're good enough for us. Even Martha Stewart, the media mogul, swears by fish oil and green powders in her morning routine, alongside balanced meals. She credits them not as miracle workers, but as part of a system. Good food, good sleep, and good supplements working together. As a physician, I want to be crystal clear. Supplements can help, but they can't erase the damage of soda, fried food, inactivity, or stress. They're tools, not solutions. Think of it this way. If your house is on fire, you don't reach for a scented candle to put it out. You grab the hose. Supplements are like adding an extra water bucket to the fight. Useful, but not enough if you ignore the flames. So when it comes to inflammaging, use supplements wisely. Omega-3, turmeric, and a few plant-based compounds may support you. But your main weapons will always be diet, movement, and stress mastery. Joint health, where you feel it first. If there's one place inflammaging makes itself known early, it's in your joints. The knees that used to carry you effortlessly up a flight of stairs now protest with every step. The fingers that once typed, painted, or played the piano begin to stiffen. For many, arthritis feels like the first undeniable sign of getting old. But here's the truth. Arthritis and joint stiffness are not just wear and tear. They are the fingerprints of inflammation. Low-grade, chronic inflammation eats away at cartilage, swells joint fluid, and weakens the muscles that support your frame. Over time, the damage can steal independence, unless you step in to slow it down. I've seen this countless times in my practice. Patients who believed they were destined for canes or wheelchairs often found new life when they cooled their internal fire. A balanced diet, regular low-impact exercise, stress management, and good sleep work together like oil on a rusty hinge. Another inspiring example is Nelson Mandela. After decades in prison, he emerged with joint stiffness and frailty, but he committed himself to regular stretching and gentle exercise. Into his 82nd, he moved with a strength and dignity that reflected discipline over decline. His routine didn't erase inflammaging, but it slowed it enough to let him dance, literally, at public celebrations. The lesson is simple. The same habits that protect your heart and brain also protect your knees and hips. Swimming eases pressure on the joints while keeping muscles strong. Leafy greens and omega-3 fatty acids lower the inflammation that grinds away at cartilage. Even mindfulness practices help because a calmer nervous system means less biochemical stress in your joints. So when you feel stiffness in your knees or swelling in your hands, don't dismiss it as just age. See it as a warning light, your body's way of saying inflamm-aging is at work. And remember, the choices you make today can determine whether you walk tall at 80 or struggle to rise from a chair at 60. Practical steps to tame inflamm-aging. Aging is inevitable, but how you age, that's a choice. Inflamm-aging is not destiny carved in stone. It's a process shaped by the small, daily decisions you make. And the good news? You don't need extreme measures. You don't need a private chef, a personal trainer, or millions of dollars to fight inflammation. You need consistency in the basics. Let's break it down into practical steps. 1. Eat like your life depends on it, because it does. Replace refined carbs and fried foods with vibrant fruits, vegetables, olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish. Every forkful is medicine. Former President Bill Clinton proved this after heart surgery when he adopted a plant-forward diet that transformed his health. 2. Move daily, no matter how small. The CDC's 2.5-hour guideline sounds intimidating, but remember, the best exercise is the one you'll actually do. Queen Elizabeth II walked daily into her 90s. Nelson Mandela stretched and exercised faithfully even after 27 years in prison. Movement isn't optional. It's the anti-inflammatory signal your body craves. 3. Calm the storm of stress. Chronic stress keeps the fire burning. Barack Obama used basketball, Michelle Obama used yoga and meditation. Pope Francis leans on prayer. Find your outlet, breathing exercises, laughter, nature, or faith. Your nervous system needs recovery time as much as your muscles do. 4. Use supplements as allies, not saviors. Fish oil, turmeric, ginger, resveratrol, these can nudge your health forward, but they're sidekicks, not superheroes. Even billionaires like Jeff Bezos, investing in futuristic longevity science, still lean on the fundamentals: food, movement, and rest. 5. Protect your joints early. If you wait until arthritis cripples you, you've waited too long. Swimming, gentle yoga, leafy greens, and omega-3 keep your knees, hips, and spine strong. Angela Merkel's mountain hikes show how staying active protects the foundation of mobility. And above all, start small. Too many people get overwhelmed and quit before they begin. Swap one sugary drink for water. Take a 10-minute walk. Try 5 minutes of deep breathing before bed. These tiny sparks, done daily, become the fire hose that tames inflamm-aging. Because remember, inflamm-aging is like rust. You can ignore it until the structure collapses, or you can oil the hinges every day and keep the machine running for decades longer. The leaders of nations, the billionaires of industry, and the icons of history all show us the same truth. None of them can buy their way out of biology. But with steady habits, they can bend biology in their favor. So can you. I've looked into the eyes of thousands of patients from every walk of life: teachers, veterans, grandparents, business leaders, and I've learned one truth: aging is inevitable, but suffering is not. So tonight, I want you to make yourself a promise, not to chase immortality, but to choose vitality, not to live forever, but to live better, to take back control of that hidden fire inside you and turn it down one choice at a time. Choose health, choose energy, choose joy, not just for yourself, but for the people who love you, who want more mornings, more laughter, more years by your side. Because in the end, the greatest gift you can give them is more of you. And if this message spoke to you, I'd love for you to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health After 50. Together, we're building a community dedicated to aging stronger, wiser, and healthier, one choice at a time.